My name is Wesam. So ID 1085899. So let's start with the lab one. Pulse code modulation. We have to convert analog waveform to a digital signal by PCM by instructions using 8 quantization levels, choosing appropriate sampling points, and showing detail with drawing. This is the sample analog um, with minimum with an amplitude range between minimum minus 6 volt to 12 volt, as you can see, with a span of 18 volt. And using that, as you can see the drawing, we calculated the values for the normalized PAM values, normalized quantized values, normalized error and quantized code, and encoded the words. And from the drawing, you can see that we calculated for delta, which is by doing Vmax and Vminimum and dividing by the number of levels in our graph, which was 12 minus 6 over 8 equal to 2.25, and from there on we go forth. And then part 2, we configure the initial switch setting, which is shown in the packet tracer file for the two PT to each one for partner 1 name and final name, and same for the second. Following the name and numbering instructions with ID. So we got the IP address, interface, device, two different separate devices with the subname mask, following two switches, 4 PCs, console cables, internet cables. We have to set up a network topology, which is up below. Now we create, of course, the network topology for task 0 by watching the video, and then we use step 1.1 to enter privileged exec mode. We followed the S1 task, and then we entered the commands for us for the privileged exec by switch enable. And for step 1.2, of course, we put show running configuration, and then from that we were able to find that the fast internet interface has 24, 2 GB internet interface, and the range for the VTY lines from 0 to 15. And of course, we use the command of startup configuration to display the contents of non-volatile random access memory and VRAM. The switch, why does switch respond to startup configuration not present? Because that's when all the configurations are loaded to the RAM. Task 2 is create basic switch configuration to assign a name to switch by using our ID number to hostname S1. Following this, we can see the ID number for my partner is 108960 next to the hostname S1, which shows it's correct. Now, for step 2.2, secure access to the console line, we have to put our first name next to the let main. Following these instructions, you can see the first name is Ryan, it's there, so it's correct. Step 2.3, verify the console access secured. Following these configuration code and exiting privileged mode to verify that the console port is in effect, and then we use the exit. Access should be the ID number, which is there, it's correct. Now, secure privilege mode access, putting our ID number next to C1.$C0, which is there next to it, it's 108960, which is correct. Verifying that the privilege mode access is secure by following the commands from instructions from A to E, starting with exit, and then we include the screenshot of that for next to S1 XX unique code of ID number 108960. Now, for step F, put our ID next to show running configuration, which is there, which means it's correct. And then step 2.6, configure encrypted password next to access to privilege mode by putting our first name next to my name is, which is there as well for Ryan. It's correct. Now, step 2.7, we have to verify that the enable secret password at the configuration line by show run command, ID number next to it. And as you can see, it's correct. ID number is there. And we're asked, what is the secret for the enable secret password? This is what we get, unique to the ID number that we put in. Why is the enable secret password this way different from what you configure? Because it is encrypted. Now, again, we put our ID number next to the configuration for the password encryption for command, which is encrypted, so it's there. It's unique to the ID that you give. Or if you configure more password, what will be displayed in free plain text or encrypted form? They will be encrypted, of course. So that's that. It will be encrypted because it turns all feature password in encrypted form. Next task 3, we have to configure OMTD banner by putting our full name into the authorized access. We put partner name Brian Amin, it's there. When will this banner be switched? We want to enter switch using console board. Why will the switch have OMTD banner? Because warning for users who don't have access. Task 4, save and verify configuration files in VRAM with verify the configuration allocated using short run command. By doing that, we put ID next to the copy running configuration setup. As you can see, it's there. What is the short abbreviation version of the copy running configuration setup configuration command? It's copy RST, so you have to know that. Which command will display the contents of VRAM by its short setup configuration, of course. Are all the changes that we entered recorded in the file? Yes, of course, they are recorded. Task 5, configure the switch management interface by configuring step 5.1 S1 with IP address and following the instructions for the switches as plug and play devices by using our own switch as from the table, following the naming and numbering instructions, which is up below next to the IP address. You can see that we have our ID number next to the configuration of the IP address 108960. Now, step 5.2, verify the IP address configuration on S1. We can do that by showing the show IP interface brief commanded to display the IP address and select all switch ports So by doing that, that's to get. And task 6, we have to configure S2, which is for me, Wesam. Student ID next to S2, so I can use the first name. Next to the let mail, as password, ID number 1085899. As you can see, this is what we get. A screenshot, configuration of S2, interface of the fast internet. So now we will have the next part 3, implementing basic connectivity. So here we have to configure the PCs and test connectivity following the steps of 7.1. Configure both PCs with IP address step A to B, the my PC X for me, and configuration all the PC X, Y, Z to IP address unique to them. Following the IP configuration and using the addressing table, we have found our information for first with Rayan, PC Rayan, IP address shown, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server. And then we repeat the same thing to get PC Y, Z, and T. Testing network connectivity by clicking on the PCX and clicking desktop tab, and then following the steps of etc command prompt and ping the IP address for S1. Now it will be of course unique for the ping for each ID number. Again, Ryan, it will be show him that there's a ping status and a minimum, and there's a request timeout of course, and we have to ping it to show that ping status for the unique IP address, what is sent. And then now for the second user, which is for me, S2 for my ID 1085899, it will also show the same thing, request timed out. It will reply ping statistics, and it will also show the minimum appropriate round trip times in millisecond, and as well as the packets sent and received and how much lost. And that's that. Thank you.